Hello class, welcome to Social Media Metrics and ROI, week 1. This is Sandra BK and I am back with you again this month to talk to you about something that I love, which is return on investment of social media and your online presence in general. Now, one of my areas of expertise happens to be SEO and sort of online marketing. I've been doing it for about, like 13 years, since 2003. As some of you know, I am a serial entrepreneur. I've owned several businesses, and one of my businesses that I owned in Texas around that time, around 2003, I had a website, and that was something that I always did, was my own websites. But we were in a city search contest for, at that time I owned a day spa, and we wanted to be the best day spa in Houston, Texas, which is a huge market. And so we started to just ask our customers to vote for us on City Search, and there was something on our website for it. And we did win a certain category. I can't even remember what it is now, but what I realized the lesson was from that is that so many people had clicked on our website that it sent a signal to the Google algorithm that this website must be important for day spas in Houston. And it catapulted it up to first, second, and third for a lot of spa keywords. And the sales of that particular business quadrupled overnight. So it was a big boon for us. And it really kind of helped me wrap my head around the importance of having an online presence. So we're going to talk about that this week. We're going to start out with that and start to focus on how to measure relationships online, and then how to find out how well we're doing through use of Google Analytics. So let's jump in. In this class, we're talking about ROI for PR. How do we measure that? Well, ROI is generally a financial term that means return on investment. So this is a business term that you will hear a lot in business circles, in your C-suite with the CEO, the CFO, and every other C in the C-suite. For social media, we really mean a return on influence, right? Like what does this influence that we have out there on the virtual space, what does that bring back to the company? It brings back brand awareness, sharing, right? People are sharing something about our brand. Maybe it has our hashtag on it, or our brand logo, and we're creating brand, brand ambassadors online. And we can do this through the people that work for our brand, but also what we really want to do is create brand ambassadors through people who are out there in the community and in the public. So what is return on influence? Return on influence is return of engagement, return of conversation, conversions, and how do we measure that? Well, we measure it through things like our Facebook Insights, Google Analytics, Twitter Insights. Hootsuite has an analytics program, so any type of online social media presence analytics that we can find. And we start with goals. So we ask ourselves, okay, what kind of goals are we setting for this particular social media campaign? Do we want to get more likes? Do we want retweets? Are we looking for a certain conversion? Especially if you have some type of online a store, something that you're selling online, you can definitely quantify the conversions that you say, okay, I put this Facebook ad up, or I put a certain campaign up on Facebook or Twitter, wherever you are. Instagram is fantastic for that. How many people linked from Facebook to my sale? Like, how many sales pages did I get because of Facebook? And there's a way to quantify that. But when we're looking at social media ROI, we're looking at both qualitative presence and quantitative presence. So what I mean by qualitative is we have to actually go deep into these analytics. YouTube analytics is really underutilized. If you haven't put your hands on that, go into your YouTube dashboard, check out the analytics, and see how long people watch your videos before they drop off. This is really important and will become more important in the future as the Google algorithm will start to reward websites that have videos on that. So, we can look at it and say, how many people are really engaging with us? That is qualitative. What is happening with our brand? That are we getting out there? Do more people know about us? How do we know that they know about us? Well, we had this type of engagement. We're growing in followers. So it's qualitative in the sense that we feel like our brand is starting to have a good reputation, that we have more brand identity out there in the world. I'll give you a real world example of branding and just wanting to have your brand identity out there. If you go into Walt Disney World here in Orlando, in the restrooms, they have these little signs that say like paper towels provided by Brawny. And, I thought to myself, wow, they're just like sitting there, placing their brand right there in the restrooms of Disney World. It's just a little sign, right? But they want people to recognize their brand. They want you to go, oh, Brawny. If Disney uses that, maybe I should use that too. And the next time you're in the grocery store, you should pick up Brawny. So it's not an immediate conversion, but there's a certain quality that comes with knowing that brand and making it ubiquitous. So we have qualitative, we also have quantitative, right? And the quantitative side of that is I can really go into Google Analytics, which we are going to do this week, and say, how many people converted over to my website from Facebook or from Pinterest or from LinkedIn, wherever that is, and then start to look at that. It's not the only thing. We don't just want to look at social media. We also want to look at our blog posts and everything. What is this online presence doing? So we're going to learn about that. It's not as easy as marketing ROI though, right? Marketing ROI, I say to myself, if I do Google AdWords and I spend $3,000 this month on Google AdWords, I know that I have to have a triple ROI, right? I have to triple that return, so that I should have, if I'm spending $3,000, I should be creating $9,000 in revenue if we're talking real dollars. Right? That's how you have to think about it. Well, what if we're a presidential candidate, right? We have to think about, if I'm spending this much, how does it quantify into votes? If I spend $3,000, is there a way to quantify that into 3,000 equals 2 votes or 1 vote, or how many votes does that equal? So think about it in a quantitative way. And then also ask yourself, what is a social media investment? What exactly do we invest in when we're talking about social media? Well, we invest in time, right? We invest in creating content. Right now, my own brands, we have a grant from the state of Florida to do a content creation videos with the hashtag GetOutsideFL. And so that's part of what we are investing for that return in social media. And this hashtag GetOutsideFL, we'll use it on our YouTube videos, through Pinterest. We've already started using it for like the last 6 months, through everywhere that we find ourselves online and in social, we will use hashtag GetOutsideFL. When you look at your social media goals and objectives, you have to remember that we live in a time now where public relations and marketing are these two separate entities that don't talk to each other. It is necessary that branding, customer service, and marketing are all working together to talk to each other. If you become a communications manager, PR manager in a firm, and these 3 sections aren't talking, it'll be your job to get them going with each other, because that brand message has to flow through to everybody, to everybody's department, and be consistent. We learned that last month with critical thinking and messaging, that there has to be this consistency. So social media crosses the borders, and it can be challenging to quantify, because if you're doing PR and you don't know what marketing is doing, you don't know whether your efforts, your sweat equity, that time that you put in, is converting, or whether that it's marketing converting, or whether customer service, who's always on Twitter watching for those tweets, how they somehow converted. So it lives in this esoteric realm. But if you remember from Gary Vee last month, he said, well, how do I know the ROI of social media? I don't even bother. I don't even bother with that. You have to be there. It's part of your brand identity at this point. But where do we begin with measurement? PR is about building relationships and reputation, and you're going to learn more about that this week with your discussion and the theoretical views of reputation management. Can we measure a relationship on social media? Yes, definitely. We know how many people are engaged with us, how many people like us. Can we measure reputation on social media? A little bit harder. But if you, let's say, for example, my businesses, we work through TripAdvisor and all these places that we have reviews. TripAdvisor is a great example because you really can't put fake reviews on there. So if you see a company that has 5-star reviews consistently, it's a great brand reputation on social media. And so we've got things like TripAdvisor, Yelp, other brand review arenas that you can really measure the reputation. How could we state a reputation in numbers? Well, if I were going to do it, and I actually just did do this today, I told Expedia that I had 4 5-star brands, travel brands. And so that is how you state your relationship in the numbers. They were all 5 stars for me. Or I have a brand that has 10,000 followers on Facebook, let's say, or something like that. That's how you state it. How do we explain then when we're talking to the CEO the value of that relationship? Well, you say, okay, if I can reach 10,000 people for free, that's the value of that relationship. I have 10,000 brand ambassadors, possible ambassadors. Those are dollars that we didn't spend really on advertising. And again, we have to create those relationships with the community because they have word of mouth, right? They pass it on through their computer, through their mouse, through their phone, through all of that. And the value of that relationship is becoming stronger and stronger every day, every week, every year, that we have two-way communications through social media. We no longer live in a time where not having a relationship with the public is acceptable. So we have to do social media, we have to do it well, and we have to be able to articulate that to CEOs. And there aren't too many out there that have, I don't know if they were living in a cave or something, but most of them know today that we need to have these relationships for our brands. And what tools do we have to measure social media engagement? I mentioned some of them. We've got Google Analytics, Twitter Analytics, Hootsuite Analytics, Facebook Insights, YouTube has analytics, Instagram has an analytics, so you've got a whole lot of options out there. Social proofs are your star ratings, your reviews, your shares, your comments, and if something goes viral. So this week we're specifically learning about Google Analytics. It measures web traffic, social referrals, and conversions. Conversions are definable and measurable. You decide what you want to convert. Do you want to get more signups for your newsletter? Do you want to actually make a sale? Do you want to get more people to vote for you? That's how you define it. How do you measure it? How many signups did I get for my newsletter? How many people did I get to buy my product, or how many votes did I get? The types of conversions you can do on Google Analytics, you can put in a URL. You can link to an e-commerce page. You can look at the time on page, right? If you know that you want people to read this entire blog post that you did and it's 2,500 words and that would take approximately 2 minutes to read, you can look at that specific post. And if your average time is 2 minutes, you know that most people read it. You can say you want people to download something and you can look at whether that thing was actually downloaded. So for this week, your assignments are to review and describe some analytics data from Google Analytics. For those of you who don't have your Google Analytics, I have provided a link to one of my own websites, analytics, that you can look and use just to get an idea of how to work around this platform. I really do want you to know how to use Google Analytics. It can make the difference for you if you work for a company on whether you can hire another person or not, whether you can keep your own job or not, when you can actually go to a CEO because they think in numbers and say, look, here's the data. Remember we did this PR campaign? Look at the results of this. Look at how much more traffic we have to the website now. And more people on the website mean more people are getting our brand message or more sales or whatever we're trying to do. Our discussion is measuring relationships for PR. You have a scholarly article for that, and then you're going to start to think about your project brand for your capstone project. These are just 2 ideas that you want to throw out there. You can change them throughout this month, but no, by week 3 actually, you will have to kind of solidify that idea. So I encourage you to get in touch with me if you're unsure, but just throw 2 ideas out there and I will comment to you and say, yeah, this will probably be a good brand project, or maybe not so much, but it's in week 3 that you'll get the approval for that. Nothing is concrete set in stone. It doesn't mean you can't change it somewhere along the way, but you would have to repitch it and just get approval again. And we don't recommend that you change anywhere after you're in month 6 now, so nowhere after month 7. So keep that kind of rolling around in your mind. In month 7, you will do research for your project and about your market. So that is all I have for you today. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to contact me. You have my phone numbers, my email, everything. Just reach out to me. As always, if I don't get back to you right away, just send me a text and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Have a good one.